I'm here in the wonderful park next to my house, my park, and I was just chilling here writing, and I just had a brief conversation with a dad of a kid about to play Folsom National All-Stars, and they had been playing catch to me for the last hour, and I don't know, that talking to that dad and watching the kid talking about going and playing Folsom National All-Stars was kind of wild, because that's what I was doing 5 years ago. I was getting ready to play for that, getting ready to do the same thing, play for the same little league with the same logo on my hat, and that feels like it's crazy that was what I was doing only 5 years ago. That feels like such a completely different person almost, but at the same time, a lot of the stuff is the same. This energy is still the same. Was still me, and I don't know. A lot has changed in 5 years, but I'm still here in the park. And then immediately, right before that, there had been this boy and this girl in the park, for as long as I'd been here, which was for the last hour and a half. So they'd been here for at least that long. But there's a boy and a girl, probably 14 or 15, and they were just sitting over in the corner of the park, listening to music and just chilling. And they'd been there for a while, and right before this dad came up and talked to me, they walked past me into the street, and the girl got in her mom's car, and the boy walked home, presumably. And I don't know, that was trippy for me, because that's what I was doing 2.5 years ago. Was that same exact thing. And that sort of feels like a crazy long time ago and a totally different person, but at the same time, it feels like kind of not that long ago and not that different of a person. And because I don't know, I feel much more at that point. I sort of had begun to have an understanding of what I believed and who I was. I had sort of for the first time in that sort of time period, created a general identity for myself, and a lot of that is still the same, because of course I'm still the same person. But I don't know, yeah, seeing those kids was weird, because I spent a lot of time doing the same thing when I was their age, lying in the park with a person that made me feel more comfortable and loved and free to express myself than I'd ever felt before. And that was an absolutely amazing feeling, and probably the best feeling that I ever felt in my life at that point. Certainly one of the best still. And I hope that those kids are also having that experience, because it's a wonderful experience to be in love and be so youthful and just lie in a park with someone that you love the fuck out of. So that was 2.5 years ago. But then a year and a half ago, I was sitting at the same picnic table with the same goddamn dark blue Bic pen and a different journal and a different water bottle and a different backpack. But I was sitting here, and I was freshly out of one of the only, or my only real experience with depression at that point. And I had kind of lost, felt like I was lost touch with myself and who I was and what I believed in, and lost touch with feeling that. And so I was freshly back into feeling in touch with myself. And I was sitting at this table, and I decided that I wanted to travel abroad after high school. And I don't remember that too many of the details about what I wanted to do or what I was thinking. I could go back and read what I wrote about it then, but I was trying to do that, and I was very motivated to do that, and I just made that decision on that day at this table about a year and a half ago that I wanted to do that. I wanted to travel abroad, and I made that a goal for this time in my life, to be preparing to do that. And I kind of forgot about that, sort of I don't know, that kind of faded out of my head, that decision at least. And as a present motivator for my life a year ago. I wasn't thinking about that on a daily basis. But here I am, a year and a half later, and I'm preparing to do that. Right before I started writing, I messaged back the World Packers host in Ecuador about like going and doing that, and I'm about to do that in like 2 months. And like I said, I forgot about that. I forgot about that decision that I made a year and a half ago, and so I'm not doing that. And that's kind of why I feel so confident in my choice to do that and in where I'm at and what I'm about to do. And that's because I'm not doing that because I made that decision a year and a half ago. I'm not doing that for like that kid sitting at this table a year and a half ago, and I'm not doing it for anyone else. I independently of that decision maintained those beliefs and those feelings, and that maintained that person that wanted to make that decision, that wanted that to be a reality. And I still believe in those things. And so that's what I'm doing, and I feel really grateful for that. And it makes me confident that I had that same thought a year and a half ago, and confident that I am not dependent on that thought a year and a half ago, but that it feels nice that it's the same one, and that I'm fulfilling the hopes and the desires of that person a year and a half ago. And I don't know, I feel like I'm staying true to that while not like being overly obligated to that. And I feel like the same is sort of true for that 12-year-old getting ready to play All-Stars and that 15-year-old lying in the park. And now I'm sitting at the same table writing, and I feel good, and I feel confident, and I feel happy. And I love this park, and this is just a big part of my life up to this point, a big part of my childhood in my home, and I'm grateful for it, and hope I come back and write here and watch the sunset for a long time in my life, or at least find myself doing the same thing in other places. Peace.